Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance is in Byron Center today. It's been 1 week since he was last here in Michigan. And News Channel 3's Autumn Pitcher is in Byron Center for us and has more on what's happening right now. Good afternoon, Autumn.
Yes, Julie, Vance will take to the stage in about just less than 2 hours. And there's already a crowd that's starting to form here right in Byron Center. I want to step aside to give you a look at that. Now, this is an outdoor venue. Supporters already here in their chairs. You can see some in red shirts and others holding Trump-Vance signs. U.S. flags are surrounding the venue along with blue and red trucks. And right in front of those trucks is a small stage where Vance will be speaking. Now, this campaign stop is at Cords Incorporated, a family-owned trucking company. This will be Vance's third campaign stop in Michigan since becoming former President Trump's running mate. And just last week, he was in Shelby Township speaking with law enforcement. And today at the outdoor venue, we have heard some topics he will be hitting on is crime and inflation. Now, this campaign event is scheduled to begin at 2 p.m. Now, we also know that Harris and Walz made campaign stops right here in Michigan just last week, really showcasing what a battleground state this is for the November election. And of course, we will be here all day long and bring you the latest updates both on air and online as we hear from Vance. Live in Byron Center, Autumn Pitcher, News Channel 3.
All right. Thank you, Autumn. We appreciate you keeping an eye on that for us. We've also learned that Democratic leaders met ahead of J.D. Vance's visit today. U.S. Senator Debbie Stabenow and the president of West Michigan's Area Labor Council spoke on behalf of the Harris campaign. They say former President Trump and J.D. Vance's agenda would raise costs for working families.
Their agenda would actually raise costs on middle-class families by rejecting what we've done to lower prescription drug costs. They want to end our efforts on lowering medicine while giving the drug companies another round of huge tax cuts.
And now this afternoon, analysts say Republicans are trying to slow down the momentum the Democratic campaigns are having. And some GOP sources say they want them to focus on what voters say they care about most. Natalie Brand has more for us from the White House.
Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, is campaigning solo on a multi-state tour from west to east. While speaking to union workers in California Tuesday, he defended his military record against Republican attacks, including from rival J.D. Vance.
I'm proud to serve my country, and I always will be.
Vance, a Marine Corps veteran, has accused Walz of stolen valor for comments Walz made about carrying weapons in war, though Walz did not serve in combat. Vance also claimed Walz left the military to avoid deploying to Iraq. CBS News confirmed Walz retired after 24 years in the National Guard to run for Congress months before his unit received orders to deploy.
I firmly believe you should never denigrate another person's service record.
Former President Donald Trump is also back on the campaign trail today in North Carolina to talk about the economy. Some aides tell CBS News Trump should focus on policy attacks, not personal ones. Former primary rival Nikki Haley echoed that concern, saying it's not a strategy to win.
The campaign is not going to win talking about crowd sizes. It's not going to win talking about what race Kamala Harris is. It's not going to win talking about whether she's dumb. It's not. You can't win on those things. The American people are smart. Treat them like they're smart.
Harris will also be in the battleground state of North Carolina talking about the economy in her first policy speech on Friday. On that issue, CBS polling from earlier this month shows Trump maintains a lead with voters who say they'll be financially better off with his policies. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, it's another beautiful day over downtown Kalamazoo this afternoon. We have blue skies, nice and sunny too. And it sounds like we better enjoy this while we've got it. We're going to turn things over to meteorologist Jeff Porter. Jeff, what a wonderful Wednesday afternoon.
Well, the next 8 to 9 hours, probably some of the best of the entire week. Truly good afternoon. And, well, we want to take you to the farmers market in Holland. Live look here from the Civic Center. I just love watching this. This is so much fun, as is every farmers market throughout West Michigan, including right here in Kalamazoo. But this one in Holland, boy, setting the table here for us. Speaking of, let's set the table for your afternoon. Sun and Cirrus here. We've got mid-80s, about a degree or two warmer than yesterday, and really, really light winds. That's great news for the Tigers. Mariners start time here at Comerica Park, 6:40. Sun and Cirrus, 84 degrees. Go Tigers. Speaking of that Cirrus, affiliated with showers and storms that are weakening well to our west here, satellite and radar together. There's your 80 in Kalamazoo. Oh, just fabulous. All right, midday temperatures. Here we go. We're going to track rain in a moment. Allegan, you're at 80. Grand Rapids, you're at 80. Three Rivers, we see you. All right, the arrival of rain is somewhere around midday to early afternoon tomorrow. Here's a quick look at it via hour by hour. Now, what is our risk for severe weather Thursday and Thursday night, and where? Julie, we're going to pinpoint that. We'll do that coming up here in about 10 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Well, we've learned that Mars bought Kellanova in a $36 billion deal. Kellanova was formed when Kellogg split into three companies last October, and Mars makes candies like M&Ms and Snickers. Kellanova makes Pringles, Eggo, Cheez-Its, Pop-Tarts. Experts say Kellanova sold more than $13 billion last year and has about 23,000 employees. And they say this is one of the biggest deals in the packaged food industry ever. The deal is expected to go through in the first half of next year. A man from Livonia pled guilty to assaulting a former Western Michigan University student. It's been almost 15 years, but we've learned now that Cameron Alvarez pled guilty to first-degree criminal sexual conduct. Investigators say the assault happened when he was a sophomore in 2010, and they say the survivor was an 18-year-old freshman. Investigators say she didn't charges because she felt like police didn't take her seriously. So that meant the sexual assault kit was not submitted for testing. But then it was submitted to a private lab in 2016 as part of the Sexual Assault Kit Initiative, or SAKI. That investigation showed that Alvarez's DNA was the common thread between 6 other unrelated rape kits from across Michigan between 2009 and 2014.
One of the best outcomes of this SAKI unit has been the ability to bring justice for people that thought that there was no justice for them. Time and again, over and over, what we hear from victims is that, they had given up on there being accountability, there being consequence for what happened to them.
Alvarez is scheduled to be sentenced next month on September 16th. We do want to let you know you might see first responders in the Grand Haven area tonight. They tell us that they're training for what they call a mass casualty exercise. So it is a training. They'll be at Harvest Church from 6 to 10 tonight. Now, the church itself is closing at 3 this afternoon so they can set up. Local hospitals will also be part of this training. They say they'll be getting updates from first responders throughout the evening. Well, some of our state lawmakers say they want stricter penalties for ransomware attacks. 2 of our hospital systems were just hit with those. One of those was Ascension, who owns Borges, and McLaren was dealing with it too. They have hospitals in the Lansing and Flint areas. Right now, the maximum penalty for hacking into a computer system is up to 5 years in prison. But someone who launches a ransomware attack might just get up to 3 years. A Republican state representative from the east side of the state says that's not enough. She says hackers know that hospitals depend on their technology systems. So she says sometimes they don't have a choice but to pay the ransom.
Should be very vigilant on fixing this, because once you pay those ransomware, once you pay them money, we are sitting ducks, and we need to pay attention to that.
Now, Michigan's Attorney General Dana Nessel says the state usually isn't told about these breaches until the news reports it. Steele, who you just heard from, says the state needs to do more to prevent these kinds of attacks. But right now, we don't know what those stricter penalties would be if lawmakers do take up this legislation. We do know that pretty soon crews will start working on a new housing development in Portage. City Council just gave them the go-ahead for a $15 million project. Allen Edwin Homes say they want to build a private road with 46 townhomes and houses on Creekside Drive right off of Center. They say they'd be geared for middle-income renters, and they could be done with the first houses in about 2 years. A City Council had been worried that there would be more traffic at the intersection of Center and Shaver, but again, they did give that project the go-ahead. Well, this afternoon, we've learned the U.S. is worried that Iran could attack Israel really at any moment. So coming up here, we'll tell you where both sides stand on possible ceasefire negotiations. And Ernesto has just become a hurricane this afternoon. We'll have more on where it's headed and what people who are already in its path have been dealing with.
Thank you very much. Julie, thank you very much. What time heavy rain arrives tomorrow night? We're going to time it out for you. It's great to have you alongside. You're watching News Channel 3 live at noon.